Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so viewer question. This is from Ash Ken, and if you want to read this for yourself, check out the description of this video, and I'll put his comment there so you can read along or just read it for yourself. All right, Ash Ken, he writes, Austin, I need your help. I'm trying to buy a pre-owned 16710 Pepsi or Coke, so a pre-ceramic GMT Master 2. I'm mostly looking on Chrono24. Problem is that I'm educating myself on what to look for, and I'm seeing conflicting images versus the information in the listing. I know I want a no-holes case and would prefer a new model, as new a model as possible. I'm willing to spend towards the higher end for one in excellent condition. I see some listings saying it's dated 2007, but picture shows a case with holes, or a no-holes case has what looks like a tritium dial. What do I do? How can I make sense out of the confusion and tell what is genuine and what isn't? Tasukette Kudasai. He writes in Romanized Japanese. That means help, please. All right, thanks, Ken. All right, so first of all, I love talking about the GMT Master 2 16710 because that is by far my favorite watch in the whole world. Now, when it comes to the most beautiful watch in the world, I have to say the 14060 or the 14060M, which is the no date sub, would be my pick for the most beautiful watch because of the lack of a date and the balance of it, and it's purity. And I think that's by far the most beautiful watch in the world. But the GMT Master 2 16710 is my favorite because you trade in a little bit of that balance, but you get the date, you get that characteristic Cyclops, characteristic of Rolexes. You get a 4th hour hand, and it's beautiful, and it's functional and super functional. In fact, it's a lot like what I'm wearing right now, which is an Explorer 2 white dial, 16570, and this is, the origins are different, and the GMT Master 2 was a pilot's watch. This was a spelunking watch, but they're incredibly similar, and I kind of look at this as a variation on the GMT Master 2. They both have the same movement, the 3185. Both have the independent local hand, and the differences really lie in the dial color and the paint job on the hands. This has black paint on the hands, and around the gold surrounds of the indices, it's painted black. And actually the earlier version before this didn't have that black paint. I think they wanted to sort of make those indices pop. And then of course the bezel is fixed here, whereas the GMT Master 2 has the rotating bezel. But other than that, they're pretty much identical. And if you need a stronger watch, this is probably going to be better because of that fixed bezel and the steel bezel. But you give up some functionality because you can take a 16710 and you can use it like a sub, and you can mark times with the bezel. And so it's basically you can use it like a sub to time things and to mark times, but you've also got the 4th hour hand and then of course the date. So a little bit similar to what we're talking about, but completely different. All right. Daughters are home. We're going to continue this. Okay, so bottom line, I love the GMT Master 2. My daughters just came home, so you're going to hear singing children in the background, perhaps. All right, well, okay, so he wants a Pepsi or a Coke, and he's looking on Chrono24, and he talks about educating himself. And good for you, because that's pretty key. If you're in the market for a vintage Rolex, you need to choose what model you want, and you need to read everything you can find about it and really educate yourself about the watch so you can make an informed decision. And so when you see listings and pictures, you want to make sure everything adds up. Now, there are three really important things to think about. The first is holes case versus no holes case, all right? And you got to find out, when did Rolex start that. Now this is a 2001 or a 2002. It's a Y serial, and as you can see, it's got a holes case. All right, so they did away with the holes cases. I'm not really sure when they did away with the holes cases. Okay, but that's one thing you need to figure out: holes case versus no holes case. You also have to think about the bracelet. Is it a hollow end link bracelet or a solid end link bracelet? Now this is a solid end link bracelet, and you can kind of see that by looking here. Okay, you can tell. If it's a hollow end link bracelet, this will actually be two pieces. Maybe you should Google an image and you can kind of see the difference. But you can tell just by looking from afar whether it's a solid end link by looking at this piece or just this little part of the link right here, and you can see if it's solid end link or hollow end link. And hollow end links were phased out in around the turn of the millennium. So if it's a 1999 watch or earlier, it's going to have hollow end links. If it's 2000s or later, it's going to have solid end links. And the third factor is whether it's Luminova or Tritium. So, you know, if it's a 90s watch, it's going to have Tritium. If it's a 1999 watch, I know that it should have Luminova, right? So for example, if you are looking at an X serial, which comes from 91, well, it's going to have a holes case. It's going to have Tritium, a Tritium dial, and it's going to have a hollow end link bracelet. If you're looking at, say, an M serial, right? Well, if you can find an M serial, you're in luck, because that's going to have the 3186 movement with a parachrome spring, and it's going to have a huge price tag. But if you can find somebody who doesn't know what they're selling and get it, that's like a dream piece. All right, so that would have Luminova, it would have solid end links, and it would have a no holes case, and that's probably what you would want. Now, you got to decide which one of those do you like, because there's a sweet spot, in my opinion. For me, I like to have a Luminova dial. I like to have a holes case, and as far as the bracelet, obviously, you know, all things being equal, a solid end link bracelet is more popular and more desired, but really in my experience and practice, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're going to take the bracelet on and off, the links, the end links on a solid end link bracelet are attached to the bracelet, so you have just one piece, a lot easier to take care of, and you're not likely to lose one of those end links, right? Whereas if it's a solid end link, you're going to have the bracelet, and you're going to have this end link and the other end link. So when you're wearing your NATO, you possibly could lose one of those, right? So, but really in practice, I think they're sort of equal. But again, all things being equal, if you're looking at, say, an A serial and a Y serial, and the A serial is, you know, they both have Luminova, they both have the holes case, but the A serial has the hollow end links, and the Y serial has the solid end links. I'd all things being equal, I'd go for the later, newer Y serial, just to get that bracelet. All right, so you need to figure out which one you want, and you're doing it correctly. You're looking at these watches, and you're seeing if things check out. Now, obviously, if it says 2007, and what do you have here? It says it's dated 2007, but it has a holes case. Now, I would have to check. I mean, if that's off, there's some discrepancy. I would go on to the next piece. I wouldn't even consider it. They might not be using the correct picture. They might, okay, let's just leave it open. Thank you. There's my daughters, by the way, are hovering about. All right. You want to come up? You do? All right. Where was I? Yeah. So if there's a discrepancy, they might be using just a stock picture, and so that could be an indication that they're not actually showing you what you're looking to buy. It's weird, and I guess best case scenario, parts have been replaced. Okay, worst case scenario, they're using stock pictures. No, that's not the worst case. That's a bad case, but worst case scenario, it's fraudulent, and they don't know what they're doing, and they're telling you it's from 2007, but then they've got a picture from 1990. All right, so okay, a no holes case that has a tritium dial. Okay, so that's not possible. I mean, it is possible. Somebody could have taken a tritium dial and put it in a no holes case, or it could be a Frankenwatch. Okay, it's odd. You shouldn't be seeing that. And first of all, you don't want a piece like that because something's off. Rolex didn't do that. All right, if it's a no holes case, it should have a Swiss made thing right below the 6, and that should indicate it's Luminova. You want to get down? Yeah? Okay. All right, so I would, if I saw the discrepancy, I would just filter all of those out. I would lose interest. I wouldn't even want to deal with a person, and it might be tempted to send them an email and ask about it. Don't do it. Just walk away. Something's off. Something's odd, and this is how you protect yourselves. This is how you protect yourself. You check the information and make sure everything lines up and make sure everything's logical. And if one thing is off, then you should avoid it. All right, so good for you doing your homework. I think everybody needs to do that before they buy a piece. And look, the homework is kind of the fun part. I know, getting the watches is a fun part, but really educating yourself on the watch, I think that's the real fun part. And so yeah, for you, okay, well, you should be looking at, if you want a pre-ceramic GMT Master 2, they phased those out in 2007, right? So 2007 was the last year, and yeah, you can find them. I think that would be I want to say a G. No, G is 2010. They were gone by then. M, Z serial, or a F serial. I think F serial, or a Z serial, or an M. And yeah, you say that. Well, you're grown up. You're heavy. It says, I'm willing to spend towards the higher end for one in excellent condition. Well, good, because you're going to have to, because these later models, especially if you're talking the M serial with the 3186 movement, or some of the Z's have the 3186 movement, well, you're going to be paying for that, unless, again, the person selling it doesn't know what they have. But even for example, the F serials, they're going to be pretty pricey. And the GMT it's even an X serial from 91 are, they're 10,000 plus USD. And so for a good, here in Japan, for a good example, box papers, you're talking 13 approaching 14,000 USD. So it's a serious purchase, and obviously you got to be careful about it, right? I think if you're a scammer and you're pulling pictures off the internet to try and scam somebody with, I would probably, you know, if I was a scammer, I'd probably try to scam people with a GMT Master 2, because it's such a desired watch. And, you know, for like a 9,000 USD GMT Master 2, 16710 is a steal at this day and time. So right, I'd be very, very careful about that, and that's why you need to make sure everything is logical. All right. Again, they might not be using the pictures of the actual watch. It could be a Frankenwatch, or it could be a total scam. And if you see any discrepancy or any illogicality in the information and the picture, walk away. And Chrono 24 is, I think it's safer than eBay, but it's a minefield in my opinion. I don't know, I can't say that, but that's just sort of my impression. No, actually, eBay is a minefield, but Chrono 24, I think the risk there is you're going to get pieces that might be misrepresented and might not be as good as they talk them up. You know, they say things are mint, and you can clearly see from the picture they're not mint. They use that word pretty liberally there. Certain countries, Italy, for example, has certain dealers that will swap out parts and change bezels. So your Coke might have started out as an all black, right? And they might have changed the bezel, so the bezel insert, I should say. So I would go for a dealer in your own country, brick and mortar shop, or Japan. So anyway, all right. Hopefully that answers your question, Ken. Thanks for writing in, and good luck. That's going to be a heck of a purchase, because they are, I think, at this point in time, the GMT Master 2 all steels are, I think they're the most popular watch in the world right now. Of course, the ceramics, people would say they're the top of the list, but the pre-ceramics, I mean, there's GMT fever going on, and it definitely applies to the pre-ceramics as well, which is what I love. All right, good luck. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.